All right, what is going on, everybody? I'm back here with Zach Harris. We're going to talk about UFC on ESPN 14. Obviously, I got to multitask while I'm going to LBI because I'm going there for the weekend for my buddy's birthday. But I'm here with Zach Harris, and we're going to talk about this stacked and loaded free card on ESPN. Robert Whitaker versus Darren Till, and we have three fights to talk about. We're going to keep it to the casual fan tonight. Obviously, we're not going to talk about the whole card, just three fights. We're going to keep it short and sweet for you. What we like as our best bets, and who we think are going to win these three fights. How are you doing today, Zach?
Doing all right. Right now, I'm currently at work waiting to leave, but the people that want the UFC talk are more important. So, hanging back for a little bit to talk some UFC with my buddy.
Excellent. All right, let's get right down to it. The first fight we have right before the co-main event, we have Fabricio Verdum versus Alexander Gustafsson. Gustafsson is stepping up a weight class for this one. He is joining heavyweight against a guy who has beaten Cain Velasquez for the belt a couple years ago, and he knows the heavyweight division like the back of his hand. Now, Gustafsson had that rough and tough dogfight with John Jones, but I will say this right here, right now. Verdum is coming into this fight as the 3-1 underdog, actually, and it doesn't make any fucking sense to me because Gustafsson's the one jumping up weight class. He's on a two-fight losing streak, jumping up that weight class, and Verdum is on a two-fight losing streak as well. But he knows the division, he knows the ins and outs, and one of these guys, they're bound to break that streak. So I'm gonna make this short and sweet for you. I'm going to take the plus 265. I am taking Fabricio Verdum tonight, and I'm not going to take it big, but I like him to win this fight. I think that Verdum gets off the schneid, and I think he enters back into greatness. Now, he is 9 years older than Gustafsson, but the thing about Gustafsson is he did retire already, and then he came back. And I think mentally he should just stay out. He had a good run, but usually when you leave the game and come back in, it doesn't bode well for the fighters. So I have Fabricio Verdum beating Gustafsson tonight.
All right, I'm gonna go opposite here. You take a look at his legacy he left in light heavyweight. This guy, every time he stepped up against somebody big, he's performed. He's come up short, but he has put on a performance. And I expect no less today as he jumps up in weight class. The thing for him is that he needs to stay on the feet. He needs to keep this on the feet because
Mm-hmm.
Fabricio is a great
Black
ground guy,
belt.
great grappler.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can keep this on the feet, if he can last every single round and he could take this either to decision, he has a great possibility. He's never been that knockout kind of guy. He's been kind of a death by a thousand cuts. So he's going to pick and choose his spots. But if he could keep this definitely on the feet, I think he can. He has a very good shot at winning. I think that's mainly where we're going here and why he's not the underdog, even though he's jumping the weight class.
Right, and they call him the Mauler for the reason. He's a great striker. He obviously had that dogfight with John Jones. I think it was UFC 169 or something like that, where I had Alexander Gustafsson actually winning that fight.
Mm.
And that was for the belt, clearly. But the thing is, if you get on the ground, you're screwed because Alexander is only a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where Fabricio Verdum is a second-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So
Yep.
you cannot get on the ground. You got to stay on the feet. If it does stay on the feet, I tend to agree with you. I think Alexander Gustafsson has the clear advantage, but I do see in Verdum's game plan that he tries to take him to the ground. If he does, Verdum wins a snooze fest, in my opinion. So, it's I think it's a pretty easy one to predict, but I'm gonna go Verdum.
Yep.
In the next fight, we have two old ass motherfuckers. We
Yep.
have um we have Nog versus Shogun Hua. All right, so I'm gonna start off with actually, no, I'm gonna let you go on this one because I like Shogun in this fight, but I want to hear your analysis on this one because I'm pretty interested.
All right, so I believe this is the third time that they're meeting. It's kind of a rivalry fight between these two guys. It's been a while since they met the last time, but not much has changed. These guys are staying the same style type fighters. I think Shogun has the advantage because he's a better striker and a better athlete. And none of that has changed since the last fight where he dominated the last time out. So I think with them trending in the wrong side of their career where their defense isn't quite where it necessarily was a few years ago, I think
Hmm.
the advantage has to go to Shogun, especially with him being the better striker. I think this is going to be on the feet the whole time. I don't think we're going to see any grappling. Maybe we get into clinch a little bit, but mainly this is going to be a stand-up fight, and we're going to see some fireworks.
All right, so not only I do agree with what you're saying, but I do have this. I'm not going to say being a snooze fest. I have this actually getting stopped in the second round, but this leads into my bet for this fight before I pick my fighter. I have this fight going over 1.5 rounds, minus 125. I have this going over. I feel like it gets past the first round. I do agree with Zach that it is going to be a stand-up fight, but it will get to the ground eventually in that first round to make it go into the second round, but forget it after that. I have Shogun knocking out Nog, who is 44 years old, and he'll retire from the UFC because obviously he has nothing left to prove. I don't think Rua has much left to prove either. I think that he's a fighter that, he's past his heyday, and I feel like he's going to retire eventually. But overall, I would have to pick Rua. I think he's just a little bit better. And, I have a big bet on 1.5 tonight, going over the 1.5.
Last time
and then
go to decision, but keep that in mind. The last time it did go into decision, but I think Antonio's trending downwards with his defense. I don't think he's going to be able to last every single round, and I see a knockout late second round, maybe early third round. So I agree.
Yeah, I the over 1.5. Last but not least, this is a very, very quick stream, guys. Last but not least, we have Robert Whitaker versus Darren Till. I think they call him the Gorilla or whatever. I don't even know. But Darren Till versus Robert Whitaker. I'm going to let you go first on this one as well because this one's a pretty easy one for me.
All right, so I'm kind of curious to where you're going to go in here because Robert Whitaker obviously went up for the belt and lost in what he looked like he got completely dominated. So coming off of that fight, going against Darren Till, who's waiting for his belt shot and could easily come after this fight. He's already made some call-outs saying, if I win this, I need to get that belt shot. So for me, it's, do you want Whitaker to win and eventually go for that title shot once again, not only to get knocked on his ass, but do you want Darren Till, a guy that's been struggling to get his title shot, that's finally performing to the level where everybody's starting to notice? And really, for me, I think Darren Till takes this one.
Darren Till, so you're going with the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
I am on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. All right, I got Robert Whitaker winning every single round in this main event. Robert Whitaker is the better fighter. He has a better resume. If you look at Darren Till's resume, the best win on his resume is Stephen Thompson, and he got knocked out by Jorge Masvidal in his own turf, England. He was in England. He got shut up by Jorge Masvidal. Darren Till actually had a battle with depression. And you just never know where it's going to go when it comes to a fighter and they're dealing with depression and shit like that. He is young, I understand that, but Robert Whitaker is just the better fighter. I look at the odds. Robert Whitaker is a slight favorite. He's a minus 130. Robert Whitaker beat Yoel Romero twice. He won the belt, and I just feel like he's going to completely outclass Darren Till tonight. And I think it's going to be not a snooze fest. I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Darren Till gets his shots in. But outclass, I have it as a 50-45 all the way around. Robert Whitaker wins by completely outclass.
Put it this way: you have Robert Whitaker, who has some power. He's more athletic, but Darren Till doesn't take many chances. He's not going to leave himself open. If he can dodge, he's not going to be able to dodge all 5 rounds. But look at him to take the first couple of rounds, maybe the first 2 rounds, and if Whitaker doesn't adapt and change his style of fight, then you could see Darren Till taking this to all 5 rounds and winning the decision. But this is going to come down to how well can Darren Till pick his spots and land his shots, because he's not a big, heavy striker, but he does pick his spots very well. He is very strategic. So that's what it's going to come down to. Will Whitaker be able to use his power against Till? Will Till leave himself open, make a mistake, and be knocked on the ground? Or are we going to have a 5-round decision coming here?
Right. All right. So you have Till, I have Whitaker. Honestly, you did bring up that point that Whitaker got dominated his last fight. He was also fighting, in my opinion, probably one of the best fighters in the UFC right now. Yes. So I mean, honestly, you can take it for what it's worth, but he's a great fighter, Israeli Adesanya. But I will say, Paulo Costa is going to take the belt away from him because Paulo Costa, in my opinion, is the next up and comer. So
That's
there we
my
have it. There we have it. And this was a very quick stream, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, let's get it. Make that money tonight.
Go Mets.